don't expect to sometimes be on a show that's going to be so impactful, especially in the Black community. And me being, being a part of it, it's just been like amazing. I think the impact it has is huge. I mean, I think it's one that goes down in the history books. Like, our show was just like, wasn't like any other.
I'm Jared Alexander with The Grio, and I'm just so excited to be talking to you guys about the final season of Queen Sugar. How you feeling? It's about to come out. I'm sure you guys wrapped a while ago, but how are you feeling now that, audiences are going to be able to see it?
I'm excited. I hope people are satisfied, because you know how people get with the ending of shows. Like, people get crazy. Fans are like, I can't believe, so I just hope people like are engaged enough to like be supportive of the work, and that they love it, and honestly, feeling wise, like I'm still processing. It's going to take me some time. I was talking to someone about this. I was telling people, I was like, it's probably going to happen when February comes around next year, and Mardi Gras time, when I start thinking about the show and how I would be going to New Orleans. I think that's probably when I'm going to cry, because I haven't quite cried yet. So, because I'm still just we did just wrap, July 20th, I think it was. So yeah, it's definitely still very much like on my mind and on my heart. Like, my body is physically like still processing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing, because on the one hand, you don't necessarily want things to go on and on and on forever, because then you can kind of stagnate there. And so I think 7 is a great number. I think a lot of shows don't get to make it to 7 seasons, so it's a blessing. I don't feel sad about it. I feel like we've all, put blood, sweat, and tears into the work. I think that it's been an extraordinary experience, and I've improved as an artist, and I've been challenged in different ways. And so, again, I might not know until February rolls around. I'm like, wait, my body is like, wait, you're meant to be going to New Orleans right now. Or if I get on a set that isn't as lovely, and like, God, it's like that thing. Sometimes you don't realize all the little things that maybe you take for granted until you don't have those things anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I imagine it feels a little bit like, bittersweet, like a senior year, let's say, or something like that, where, I'm sure when you were filming this last season, that you took each moment as it came and just kind of checked in, knowing it was going to be the last one. Did you have little things, like, be it, your final read through, or on the day that you guys wrapped, or little moments that you guys are just going to take with you when you remember the show?
I guess that dinner was really nice, Bianca. The dinner we had.
Yeah.
But honestly, for me, there's too many memories to count that I'm gonna take away with me. But the biggest memories of all are with my cast, and the fact that we got to create something truly beautiful and impactful together, that people like love and live for. I wouldn't have never thought I'd be a part of a show like this that has like really impacted our community like it has, and it's just been beautiful. But I it's funny, I'm trying to think of a moment, and I'm like, I don't have one. Probably because I just let it in how it ended, and I'm trying not to hold on to it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to just like embrace how that ending was, and to just like let it go. And that's like nothing bad, but like it was almost like I didn't want it to end, so I wasn't even thinking about the ending until like it was over, and I woke up the next day and was like, wait. I was like, wait a minute, I'm not done. I didn't say goodbye. I didn't, whatever it was, but it all is as it should be, and like I said, I'm still processing it, but just grateful for the time and my forever family, which is like my cast. Just that's something that no one could ever take away from me. The moments I've had with each of them, and the support that I felt from each of them. I'm gonna take that with me into the next project for sure.
Absolutely, and I think too, and this will also be for both of you, and it's kind of a similar question, but and you already touched on it a bit. It's just the impact of the show, I think, is kind of unparalleled for right now. I mean, I know for me personally, even when Queen Sugar just came out, it was a drama unlike I had seen before, specifically a family drama, with people who look like me, and with these rich characters and these amazing dynamics and all these things. And I think you guys not only connected immediately with audiences, but also helped launch a network at the same time. So when you look back at just the impact and the legacy of the show, which I know is hard when you're in it, right? Because you're like, for you guys, you're just doing the work. But have you guys started to like grapple with or just wrap your head around the impact of the show? Because I do think that it's left not only a lasting mark on the audiences who love it, but also on the industry as a whole.
I mean, I'm aware of it when people come up to me and tell me about it, because I have this weird thing where I'll be just like, you know, going about my day and almost thinking I'm invisible. And I'm always so shocked when people are like, oh, are you Darla? Like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, what? Like, you know, are you Darla? You look just like this character Darla. And then they'll get shy, and I'm like, I don't know. But then they go and tell me, you know, how much it has truly impacted their lives. There was a nurse that she was like, I was Darla, and she had her son taken away from her and put in foster care. And she got clean, and she was so more embarrassed because she was in the addiction field, you know, and so she said, we don't really watch, she got her son back, but she said, we don't really watch a lot of shows as a family, but we watched Queen Sugar because it's so like inspiring to us, and her husband is a recovering addict as well. And so like when people tell you that, like, because I'm just sort of doing my job, and you know, but when you realize it's like having this really real life impact on people, and because I know certain movies and shows have done that for me, right, where it's like, oh, this makes me feel not so alone in whatever I'm going through, and also I think all of the characters, you know, I like that they're all unique. It's not like, okay, this is, you know, this one kind of like personality or way of being is reflective of like the entire Black experience. It's like they each are unique, you know. And I think we don't see that enough, right? Like all the different variations of the Black experience. So that is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't, you know, there weren't any shows like Queen Sugar before we came on. There was nothing like it. You know, I liken it to, I think about the Cosby Show, but that's what comes up for me. But like when I was younger, like we all watched it, and that was like our show. And I feel like Queen Sugar kind of has had that same effect. Like I feel like a lot of people who don't normally watch OWN, who don't usually not watching TV, were like started to watch Queen Sugar. And I feel like it was kind of a slow burn, because the universal themes that we talked about with family, I feel like it spread to everyone, all races, all types. People were like, oh, I got an aunt like that, or I know exactly what that is. And it just spread to everybody, and people were really into it. And I think they were into it because Ava had a way, and the writers had a way of laying out the story in a way that wasn't, you know, beating you over the head with it. It laid it out in a way in which you could really engage with it and question even then maybe your own life about it, and be like, like I need to maybe think about that, you know. And I think it's, you know, it impacted people's growth and healing. Because I did get a couple of people who would say to me, hey, that storyline between you and Vi really, you know, that I just talked to my aunt, you know, someone telling me, oh, I just came out to my father. Oh, I'm this and that. Like I'm the real life Nova, like people telling me these things. And so I knew it was touching people. And that's how I knew we were doing good work, because like when I started meeting different fans and stuff, and the stories people were sharing, I was like I would be like, oh, you're really watching? They're like, no. They're like, not only are we watching, we're healing. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of, it's beautiful, because like I said, you don't expect to sometimes be on a show that's going to be so impactful, especially in the Black community. And me being, you know, being a part of it, it's just been like amazing. You know, I think the impact it has is huge. I mean, I think it's one that goes down in the history books. Like our show is just like, wasn't like any other, if that makes sense.
I feel like in the future, it's going to have this like, you know, like there'll be like an album that nobody really, they didn't win any awards and nobody talked about it. And then the future happens, like, oh my God, they were a genius. You know what I mean? Like,
you're right.
This album of all time, but nobody got it at the time. Like, I feel like that's gonna happen to Queen Sugar. Like, the future's gonna happen, and suddenly it's like, oh my God, that was so groundbreaking. that was, we couldn't fully understand what it was doing at the time, but now we see the impact on culture, you know? So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see that with streaming now. Look, you see so many people revisiting old shows. They're like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant, or the blueprint, or laid it out. And I really hope that for your show as well. And again, I just want to say congratulations. Enjoy the rest of this rollout. Soak it all in. You guys both had such lovely stories about how it impacted certain people who came up to you to talk to you about it. And just know that with that, there are probably thousands you haven't even heard of, people who haven't been able to talk to you. So kind of take that with you too.
Thank you.